May I ask another question? Was learning, writing, reading, was it a problem? Huh?
No.
No, just maybe you're not. Say for instance, you went to school. You were told to study a book, it doesn't matter whatever it was, to read, to write clearly. Did you make that into a problem?
No.
Well, no, I think it was something that we had to do and we were doing it.
You had to do, but you didn't. Was there a feeling of not wanting to do it or wanting to do it?
Well, in the beginning, there might be that feeling of not wanting to do it.
Right?
I don't think that could have come up. I don't think I would have thought that maybe I could not do it, so there wasn't this feeling of not wanting to.
No, you're not quite clear. You're not answering clearly.
Well, I'm saying I don't think there was...
You had to learn mathematics, right?
Yes.
All of you. Did you make mathematics, did you mean mathematics as a problem, or you were forced to do it? You understand that? Was it a problem to you? Was it something you felt, my gosh, I don't want to do it, but you had to do it?
Well, we didn't have any other choice in a way.
Huh?
We didn't have any other choice. When you had to go to school and you had to follow those classes.
Was it something disturbing? Something you kind of struggled to learn so that it became a problem to you?
I would say it depends on the subjects in a way. I mean, you're saying mathematics, for me it was a problem, but other subjects were not problems.
I'm asking, this may be a little too serious. Have you got problems now? Something which you have to resolve?
Yes, I would say, yes, I do. Sometimes there are some things that, and I feel, oh, that's a problem. What can I do?
So, why do you call it a problem?
Well, I think I'm...
Just listen to my question first. I may be wrong. Don't accept what I'm saying or anything. Is your brain inside the skull, has it got many problems?
By itself? The brain by itself?
Your problems. Mathematics, marriage, sex, where you're going to do tomorrow after you leave here. You follow? What's your future? Isn't that all something that disturbs you? Or you merely live day by day?
No. Very often one has to think of what one's going to do in the future after I leave Brockwood.
Does that create a problem in you? You're frightened, you become anxious. And say, my God, life is so monstrous, you follow what I mean? So frightening, so dangerous. What am I going to do? Or you just think, I want to do that, I'm going to do that. Nothing else.
Or I don't know what to do.
Right. We'll come to that presently. What I'm trying to find out, you're not helping me, you're not tracing out your life. So to put it differently, you don't know your condition. Right?
What do you mean by that?
I told you, I mean by the conditioning, the tradition, the school, the various subjects you had to learn, and the background of your father and mother, what they were like, and what they told you what to do and not to do, their superstitions or their beliefs, or their faith imposed on you. You follow? All that shapes your brain. Right? Because they're older, they're more influential, they know better than you and I do. Right? So they say you must do this, you must not do that, and they scold you, or beat you up. Right? So all that shapes your brain slowly, right? You understand what I'm saying now? Right? Agree? So that gradually becomes your conditioning. Then your conditioning becomes still more when you have to take a special subject and become a specialist, right? As a carpenter, gardener, or a scientist, or a doctor, and so on, right? So gradually your brain becomes narrower and narrower. You follow? Are you aware of this?
Well, I don't.
Wait, listen to me.
It's just.
Are you aware of this taking place in you?
Why do you say it becomes narrower?
If you don't like that word narrow, it becomes limited.
You mean because I have to choose something that I have to do?
When you say, I want to do that, right? That's my life. So gradually, you concentrate on that, right? You don't take life as a whole. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you must know all about playing piano or some instrument, that you must know all what the scientists are saying, right? All the books. I don't mean that. I'm trying to point out, if I may, where there is self-interest, whether in specializing or in having some skill, learning many languages, they're all good, but if there is self-interest, it becomes, you understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, but we're not aware of it.
First, listen to what I have to say. Where there is self-interest, right? Me first. My interest first. What I want to do. I am free to do what I think. I will rebel against my parents. You follow? I will do what I think is right. Yeah. My prejudice is as good as your prejudice. I hold to my opinions, right? My conclusions, all that is self-interest in different ways. That self-interest has enormous consequences, right? If I'm interested only in myself and I marry somebody, and she's also self-interest, you understand the reason? It's a mutual self-interest.
So would you say there's self-interest in a human being right from a very young age?
Huh?
Would you say that there is self-interest in a human being from a very, very young age?
Probably. My book, my talk.
But before you can say, this is my book.
I don't know. That will. No, I've read somewhere. Some scientists have discovered they may change tomorrow. They try to do. They said the baby knows who the friends are of the mother. The mother, then baby knows with whom the mother is friendly, and whom she kind of resists, or nervous, or frightened, or the baby has a feeling about it. Probably, I don't know, I read it, maybe wrong.
So self-interest could be acquired, or it could be genetic?
Find out, I'm asking you, don't ask me, I'm asking you.
I'm wondering if that is so.
Find out. Rather, we know what self-interest is, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It can be, that self-interest can express itself in prayer, in worship, and devotion to somebody, right? And also in knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
In certain capacities, as a painter, as a musician, right? It hides itself in faith, in belief, right? Right?
Yes.
Huh? So, we know where self-interest is fairly clear, right? Do you know where it is not? Careful, careful, don't answer yet. Where it is not. We know where it is, right?
It seems to be pretty much everywhere in all humanity.
Huh?
It seems to.
You go on.
It seems to be
common to all
almost in every human being, and
I know all that. We know that.
And it seems to be in almost everything I do.
Yes.
And
So-
sir, it also seems something natural.
Huh?
It also seems something natural.
Yeah, find out. See, I'm asking you to inquire into all this, if I may.
No, sir, I don't know what self-interest is not in.
Huh?
I don't know what it is not
Find
self-interest.
out. Do you see it hides in most subtle ways and the most cruelest ways, right? When I use you and you use me, it's most, right?
Mhm.
So we know where it is, where it hides, where it kind of subtly moves along.
yes.
It may be worshipping nature. Follow? It is extraordinarily subtle. Right? I'm not talking all the time. I don't want to talk all the time. You're making me talk all the time. You're not answering my question. I'll finish it. You know where it's not, where it is. Right?
Yes.
If you have examined closely, if you have observed very carefully what is happening around you, what's happening in, follow? Self-interest seems to be so extraordinarily dominant.
Mhm.
And you also know it's very, very subtle. Social help, social activity,
That's right.
helping people. You follow? And the gurus with their blah, you follow?
Very often we don't notice it.
Therefore, find out where it is not. We'll come to that presently. You haven't told me, not to me, you haven't discovered for yourself what your background is, what your condition is, why you think this, why you don't think that. You follow? Go into it.
It's difficult to define what one's background is. I mean, it feels that's what I've lived, you know.
Yes, that's what I'm
But-
asking you. That's your background.
But so if you ask what did you feel about it, I cannot say because I don't
bother.
remember.
All right. Then tell me, what were the facts? If you, as far as you can remember, far back.
That would be a very long story, Krishnamurti.
Yes, it's a long story. Go on. We've got time. You see, that way you are beginning to learn about yourself, right? What you are, what you feel, why you feel, what you think, why you think. You follow? You begin to learn your reactions. You begin to learn about your own way of looking at prejudices, all that. You begin to learn about yourself, which is very important, right?
Yeah.
We say, you really agree? You really see how important it is to know yourself. Do you? Not what other people say, right? To know all the corners of yourself, all the carve, all the underground, all the shadows about you. You follow the whole, your whole being. Right? You know mathematics, obviously, or history or geography or some technological subject, or you are probably have some skill in some music, in some instrument, so on, so on. But apparently, you don't seem to know about yourself, which is far more important than learning how to paint or how to dance, which is necessary too. But that, you follow what I'm saying?
Why do you say that, sir?
What?
That it's more important than...
Obviously, sir.
Well, but we spend
I'm asking you, but tell me what you think.
Well, you see, we spend most of our time learning
I know.
Mathematics or...
Yes. So are
English.
you also learning about yourself?
Well, as far as I remember, not before.
Now, not before. Now, to learn about yourself, you have to trace what you are, right? What you are 10 years ago, what you are now. Is that the result of 10 years? Inquire into it.
So I was brought up to believe in God, not so much by my parents, but by my friends, my cousins, my uncles, my aunts, to believe in God.
Yes.
And
Like most people do.
yes.
Yeah. Move from there.
And I never really questioned that.
Now, when did you begin to question? Do you question it now?
Yes.
Now, when you question, what takes place? How do you question it? Why do they believe in God? What is it that makes them believe? You see, you ought to be asking all these questions.
It seems an easy way of living, you know, if you say there's God and He will send this to us and He has arranged things, so you put the responsibility in God.
Yes, so what do you say?
You want something to hang on to.
Yes. What do you feel?
Now.
What do you feel, say the vast majority of mankind believe in God, right? In different ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the Asiatic world, it is the Buddha. The Hindus have many gods. And the Christians and the Muslims have only one, right? And what is your feeling about all this?
But wouldn't this feeling we have about it, wouldn't it come from the feeling the parents had about it?
So you believe too?
No.
Wow.
But my parents told me, you do what you believe if you want, you don't believe if you don't want.
Yes, so what do you feel about it?
Well, I personally don't believe in it.
No, that's what, you don't care?
No, it's not that I don't care, but I don't...
You're indifferent.
Well, I was in a Catholic school for a while, so I saw, you know, how they... how they go to church and
little
how...
louder.
Yes. How people, when they go to church
You're not louder.
All what happens when they pray and they're singing and repeating many things, and I didn't really see the point of doing that.
So is that your part of your background? That you saw all this?
Yes.
And you say what circus it is, what nonsense it is, or how marvelous it is, you follow? What was you are not doing what do you think about all this? The wars, the terrorism that's going on. What? One group fighting another group, like in Lebanon. Right?
Sometimes
She
when
hides against Sunni. You follow? Christians say, what's your reaction to all that?
I feel frightened sometimes when I think of it.
Frightened of what?
Well, that one day the world could blow up, maybe.
So,
That you
are
could be.
you concerned about the world or concerned about yourself in the world?
Myself in the world.
That means self-interest.
Yes.
So go, you see, I'm trying to push you, you don't investigate. You don't say that, you know, in Brussels, that horrible thing that happened, 42 people were killed. What's your reaction? You saw that, must have seen it on television or read in the papers. And what do you feel about it? What you feel about it will depend on your background. You follow me? So you have to inquire into your background.
Yes.
So unless, that's what I'm trying to ask, unless you trace it out very carefully, step by step, so that you know what your actions are, what your feelings are, why you think this way, what your prejudice. You follow? You begin to learn all about yourself. And then you find that you are, by Jove, I'm conditioned as a Argentine, as a Catholic, as a Hindu, or why nonsense all that. You begin to learn about yourself. Right? Isn't that important?